All right, everyone. Welcome back to Sports Flow with BK and Speaks. This week we will be recapping that matchup that we had with the Seattle Seahawks last Sunday.
Yes, we will. Not quite the result that we were looking for. We were hoping for a W and a revenge game, but you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, isn't that the Lions' way too? Like we get all worked up after last week beating the defending champs, and then we come out and lay a dud this week. Tough result. Hopefully, we can bounce back and use this as a learning lesson.
Absolutely, yeah. We laid an egg, all right. So hopefully we can get back on track. But let's recap this Seattle game and go over a few things.
Yeah, so I think first, right out of the gates, I thought the offense looked pretty good. But the main story here is the injuries. It's not looking good for us on that front coming forward.
Yeah, the injuries are a big concern moving forward and super unfortunate.
Yeah, no question about it. Offensively, we lose David Montgomery for a couple weeks here. It
Big
sounds like
loss.
he's having a thigh bruise situation. Big loss. He's been great for us this year, been a great new addition. Hopefully Gibbs, the rookie, and Xavier Knight, who they called up from the practice squad, can fill in and replace him to the best of their abilities.
Yeah, I really like bringing him up from the practice squad. He had 300 yards with the Jets last year, and I think he'll provide some stability in the backfield, with Gibbs still getting settled in as a rookie.
Yeah, but you got to think they're going to start to up that Gibbs workload there.
Yep.
I know they're saying, maybe it's going to take a little bit more time, but without Montgomery on the field, I think Gibbs is going to have to be a good offensive piece for us, maybe even a great one in order for us to have a lot of success on offense.
I totally agree. And a big piece with his success with another injury is Vaitai.
Yeah, no question. Vaitai is a huge loss here. You got Decker dealing with the ankle injury at the left tackle spot. And now it sounds like Vaitai is dealing with the knee issue. You never like to see it with the offensive line.
No, multiple guys, multiple starters banged up on the offensive line, kind of, shifts things around. Luckily, we got Penny, who's very versatile, and Gaskow, who's extremely versatile as well. So, I mean, we have the depth, but it's still not what we like to see week two.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't like to see it. We do have the depth, but that doesn't mean that we want to see the starters go down by any stretch. I think the offensive line is one of the best in the league when they're healthy. Hopefully we can get those guys back to full strength. But you are right, too. Penny Sewell and Frank Ragnow, the center and the right tackle there, are anchors. And we'll be all right there, but it's just not going to be at that elite level like they were early on this year.
Yeah. I mean, you could see against Kansas City. I mean, when our offensive line's 100%, healthy and all things are clicking, we were wearing that Kansas City defense out towards the end of the game and bullying them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, with Montgomery, who is one of the hardest power runners I've seen in the league, great through the tackles here. And that offensive line getting that push, they started to dominate the line of scrimmage in the second half versus Kansas City. The injuries certainly don't help with that.
No, they don't. Not at all. And another huge injury going to the defensive side of the ball. Our boy Gardner Johnson. This is the biggest blow, and looks like he's going to be out indefinitely, unfortunately.
Yeah, they're talking season. I don't like that at all. Gardner Johnson was obviously one of the best free agent pickups that we had. You could feel the impact that he was having on our defense, and losing him is it's a real tough loss for us going forward.
Yeah, not only on the defensive side of things, but just in the locker room as a whole, the fan base. He had everyone pumped up, everyone wearing the blue ski masks. I think he was starting to be the heart and soul of our team, not just defensively, but all the way around. And now him being the leader last year in picks and his ball hawking ability with him and Kirby Joseph, that's a demoralizing loss.
Yeah, no question. I think when all Lions fans got that news, their heart kind of dropped. He was supposed to be a big piece for us this year, and losing him is tough. Also, with the blue ski mask, we might have to retire him because we kind of got stomped on with Seattle in that locker room. They were kind of bragging on us at the end of the game, and we didn't come out and give the best showing with.
Yeah, it really grinded my gears seeing Seattle partying in their locker room with our blue ski masks on. If there's one organization I can't stand and their fan base, 12th man, it's the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, The fan base is all right with me. Watching them parade around with the ski masks, it hurt as a Lions fan, but I get why they did it.
Same.
The ski mask thing is awesome. Like, it gives unity to the fan base, but we got to back it up if we're going to wear that.
We got to back it up, and we didn't do so they had every right to do it. I'm just a diehard fan, and, it pissed me off. I wanted this game bad after the past 2 years, and we just made Geno look like he was Vince Young back in Texas, and I just couldn't believe it.
Yeah, me too, man. I mean, after the way last year ended, the way we lost to him last year at home, I think this entire fan base was like, we need to come out here, get this win, make a statement, and it was pretty deflating to have them lose. Hopefully it's a learning lesson.
Yeah, and that's, what Dan Campbell said, it's a slice of humble pie. So, I'm hoping we step up and we don't continue this and we go 2-1. And, this is a big, big game coming up for us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you talked about it a little bit with Gardner Johnson being out. We're going to have to figure out what's going on with that secondary because you're right. Geno Smith tore us apart this last weekend. We got to make sure we shore that up or else we're going to run into trouble with Atlanta too.
Yeah, and one guy who's going to have to shore that up who, was voted a team captain and, had a bad injury last year. And now he's going to look, to redeem himself. And, Tracy Walker, man, I love Tracy Walker, fan favorite. Darius Slay's cousin. He has a lot to prove, and I think he's up for the challenge.
Yeah, I think so too. We're talking about a guy who couldn't really stay healthy here the last couple seasons. When he has played, he's looked good. So I'm hoping he can fill in the shoes. We have plenty of injuries there. Hopefully, Emmanuel Mosley, one of our free agent pickups, comes back here in the next couple of weeks too.
Yeah.
But it looks like we got some holes over there right now.
Yeah, Mosley still looks like he's a few weeks out. Jerry Jacobs, man, did he have a rough day at the office?
Yeah, just a tough day for him. Jacobs is usually real solid for us. I was surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised too, just with the pass rush not getting there. And then, with the pass rush not getting there, Geno had all kinds of time to do whatever he wanted. And there was always a wide open receiver, which was super discouraging because if you look back at, the first game and then you start filtering into the second game, you're like, shoot, are we as good as we thought we were when we beat Kansas City? If, those Kansas City receivers didn't drop them balls, are we 0-2 instead of, 1-1 right now?
You make a good point. Maybe the lack of weapons on the outside for Kansas City played a huge part in us winning. Our secondary looked way worse than we did versus Kansas City.
Yeah.
It was a tough outing, to say the least, for them.
We got a lot of things to clean up, and, hopefully we're up for that challenge. I think we are. It's just, I just was not anticipating this. And then, like I was just saying, we weren't getting the pass rush. And then who else do we lose? James Houston. I mean,
our best pass rusher.
Our best pass rusher adds a whole new element.
Well, I would say Hutch is probably the best, but he's right there.
He's 1-2. And he might be a little bit more versatile with where he can line up and with what he can do, but now he's out 6 to 8 weeks with a fractured tibia. I mean, that's just a huge blow for the Lions.
Yeah, especially with our lack of pass rush for Seattle. We couldn't touch Geno Smith. He was just sitting back in the pocket.
Yeah, the one sack we got was at the end of the game where he was either going to run out of bounds and give us even more time on the clock, or Anzalone got him inbound. So, I mean, that was our one sack all day, which is pretty sad.
Yeah, especially with how much they threw the ball and how much we were pressuring Mahomes last weekend. I thought the pass rush was a strength of ours last weekend.
Same.
And they looked non-existent.
No, they really did look non-existent. The pass rush that we did have, and I'm not, there's no asterisk, but Hutch did get held on that overtime play at the end of the game. I mean, it's very blatant and clear.
Hey, can we get a call? I mean, it's getting to that point. Like some of these, I don't like to blame the officials, but that has a lasting impact on the game.
It does. And you want to know what really else bothered me about this whole game is, we Dan Campbell, we're aggressive all game. We're aggressive in the Kansas City game. That's our MO. And then it gets down to the nitty gritty at the end of the game. And then we're all conservative. There's no urgency at the end of the game when we can win it in regulation. And we're just fine with kicking the field goal. What's up with that?
I didn't get it. We were rolling down the field. Goff was starting to get into his rhythm. And then we got to the 50-40 there, and we just pumped the brakes.
It doesn't make any sense. We're the whole game, all season, even last year, that's our MO. Like, let's get after it. Aggressive. Fourth down inside our own 20. We go for it on a punt. And then we have a chance to win the game in regulation, knowing damn well they get to call the coin flip for overtime. And we're not going to go for the touchdown, the end zone one time?
Yeah, I mean, the rule sucks with overtime.
Yeah.
It comes down to a coin flip. But you're right. I mean, it didn't make any sense to me why we didn't go for it there. The only thing I could think of is Campbell was like, I don't want to give the ball back to Geno Smith because I don't have any confidence in my secondary right now, which could have been the case. But you're only giving him the ball back with 30 seconds. And I think you have to try to go for the win there.
Absolutely. And that's after that huge defensive stand we just had where we did exactly what we needed to do to get the ball back in great field position. And right before that, we went right down and scored just like we needed to. And then we're just going to pump the brakes. I just did not understand that logic. And I was heated.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. I mean, to play for overtime is ridiculous there. You're in a spot where you can win the game and you just like back off. Unacceptable in a way. Hopefully we learn from that because you're right. I mean, it's one of those situations where we've been aggressive all year. That's been our, whole attitude. And that wasn't like us at all.
Especially when our offense has been clicking on all cylinders. I have no worries about our offense. I mean, every time we need a play, we're making the play. I love Ben Johnson's play calling so far. I love everything on the offense side of the ball. I didn't like the time management and the efficiency down the stretch. That just did not make sense to me. I hope we clean that up. I hope Dan Campbell got a piece of the humble pie because that was inexcusable, in my opinion, not to go for the W there.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Ben Johnson's drawing it up. I don't know whose call that was.
Yeah.
But it was the wrong one.
I totally agree. And, hopefully we work that out because, with the injuries that we have, we're going to have to figure it out because another pass rusher who got hurt in practice, Pascal, that's another huge injury.
Yeah, he was helping out in the run too. Pascal's versatile. We're just losing body after body with these injuries, and it's starting to take a toll.
Yeah, it really is starting to take a toll, and it's only week 2, and it's quite demoralizing that we have this many injuries to such key players this early in the season. But as Campbell said, and as we say, it's next man up, and the guys have to step up and, run with it.
Yeah, I think we have a deep roster. Hopefully they can, clean things up, get ready to go, because Atlanta's no joke of a team. I mean, they're 2-0 right now. And they're running the ball on just about everybody. It's going to be a tough matchup again this week.
It is going to be a tough matchup again next week because if I've noticed one thing with our team, we struggle with running quarterbacks. And Atlanta's quarterback, Ritter, he can run it with the best of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that two-headed monster with Algier and Bijan over there is it's tough to deal with. Arthur Smith, is their coach over there, too, is kind of a guru with running the football. It's going to be a challenge.
It is going to be a challenge. Hopefully, we step up. We forget about this last week, and we're ready to go for this, game against Atlanta. We're at home. We're going to have the crowd behind us again, but we got to clean a lot of stuff up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think on the field we absolutely do. When we're talking about the fan base, boy, did we show up.
Did we ever? It was so good to see. That place was rocking and rolling. I do not remember the last time I've seen that place so loud.
Crazy. 118 decibels, 120 decibels. Towards the top all time with NFL sounds coming out of stadiums. The fan base is showing up, and this home field advantage is real. We just got to make it count.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was cool seeing, players like Anzalone, for instance. He's like, I don't really go on social media once, but I had to come out and, thank the fan base. You guys were awesome. You guys were loud. Please continue that energy this whole season. I know we will. It's just, let's go, baby.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to come out and be that loud, it's time to get some victories.
Yeah, we got to show it up on the football side of things and, back it up for our fans.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited to see how these home games do go, though. If that's any sneak peek of what we're in for this year, it's going to be a lot of fun when we're playing at home.
Yeah, it sure will be. But let's go back to recapping last week's game and what was the big difference in us losing and Seattle winning that game.
Yeah, it's got to be the 2 turnovers. Or
three turnovers.
3 turnovers, but the 2 that led to scores the other way were killer. We had the 1 pick six. Goff breaks that streak of not having an interception in the toughest way possible.
And you knew it was going to happen with as much as talk it was getting. It's just unfortunate out of all the picks, it comes back for a pick six. When it did.
Yeah, and changes the entire game. That's the reason we lost. I thought in every other way we played neck and neck with Seattle when we were playing one of our worst games. The turnovers really cost us.
Yeah, ball security, Montgomery had a fumble and then St. Brown had a fumble too. So anytime you lose, the turnover battle in the NFL, you're not going to win most of the time.
Yeah, it's tough to do it. Could not have been worse in that regard for us. And I'm not surprised that it led to the loss. No. On some positive sides with this week's game, we can talk about how good Sam Laporta, the rookie, has been. Laporta is looking like he could be a staple for us going forward and has some serious juice when he gets it in the open field.
Yeah, he looked awesome. He is one of the first rookies to have he's the only rookie to have this many receptions to start off a year as a tight end. And he had that huge catch at the end of the game to, get us that tying field goal when it looked like it was about to be picked off. He swiped it right out from that guy, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he did. And it's looking like he's kind of the safety net for Goff right now. He's getting used to him. I think he's going to be a good part of the offense here going forward.
Yeah, that's a huge positive. And then, another positive, obviously, we just kind of, ripped on him a bit with the pick six. But Goff has looked outstanding other than that, interception.
Yeah, he is, man. I think he's proven that he's the guy. I think it's getting to that point where we have to think about extending this guy with this contract coming up. All he's been is positive for us since midway through last season.
Yeah, he sure has, and I'm excited, to see, what he does the rest of the year. And another positive is our rookie Gibbs. I thought he played great. Other than that drop that could have went to his house, I thought he looked really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think back to Goff for a second. I think it's good to have your staple quarterback going forward, and we might have got it there. But in the regards to Gibbs, you're absolutely correct. What he's bringing to the table is some juice that we haven't seen in this offense in a long time. They're saying we're just seeing sneak peeks of what we're actually going to fully see with him later on in the season. The sneak peeks have been pretty good. You had that one drop, kind of like you were mentioning, but other than that drop, which probably would have went for 50-plus yards, he had some space if he wouldn't have dropped it.
With his speed, I think he was going to the house.
It could have very well gone that way. But other than that drop, he's been really solid in the touches he's had, and I think we got a good one with that first round pick we had this year.
I totally agree, and he's not going to have time to settle in with Montgomery's injury now, so he's going to be hitting it full board, and I'm excited to see him with a bigger sample size next week.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how they do split the carries with him and the other guys. Obviously, you got to think Gibbs will get at least a few more touches.
Yep.
Every time he touches the ball, it seems like he's one step away from taking it to the house. So it's exciting to see that he will be a bigger part of the offense probably here going forward.
Yeah, and we touched on this last week a little bit too about Reynolds finally looking healthy. You talked about security blankets as Laporta. I'd have to say that Reynolds might be neck and neck with Laporta in that category for security blankets.
Yeah, I mean, Goff brought Reynolds over with him from LA.
Yep, you sure did.
They've had a good relationship for a long period of time, and they get each other on the field. And you can see with Reynolds being healthy this year, he's a viable target that we have on the outside. Easily can play wide receiver 3 for us, and he's been valuable for us so far.
He's finally healthy, and like you said, came over from LA. You can see the chemistry, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, third downs, he's looking for Laporta or Reynolds at this point, and Reynolds has been coming through for us.
Another bright spot that's always a bright spot, Amon-Ra St. Brown had, another receiving, 100-yard receiving game. other than, his fumble, I thought he played great. And the downside of the whole situation is that toe injury. Hopefully, that can be a linger. So, well, we'll see what happens there. But what were your thoughts on St. Brown's game and effort?
Yeah, the toe injury is a little bit worrisome just because we do play on turf. Turf toe is a thing.
Yep.
Hopefully it doesn't linger because we need St. Brown. The guy's been a staple to our offense for the past 5 years, it feels like. Actually, 3-4 years now?
Yeah.
But regardless, the guy has been a staple since day one. Reliable target, great route runner, great hands. What's there not to like about St. Brown? You got to think he'll be a Lion for life, just with the way he works.
Lock him up.
And his attitude, man.
Yeah, absolutely. We need him as a leader in that locker room too. So I think he'll, get the boys back on track. And, we just hope that toe injury isn't a linger because we need him going into Atlanta because this is a big game coming up. We don't want to go 1-2. We want to go 2-1.
Yeah, no question. We got to get back on track. You're talking about locking up St. Brown too. I think it's got to be a priority in the offseason. And he is a pending free agent coming up, and he's got to be a part of our long-term plans. But you're right with the 2-1. We have to come out here. We have to be able to get this win. 1-2 is going to look a little scary to Lions fans who had high hopes going into the season.
Yeah, even though, the Packers lost, Minnesota lost, and Chicago lost.
The division is definitely down.
The division is down, but that's not to be said. We need to string together multiple wins, and I want these multiple wins at the beginning of the year rather towards the end of I want them the whole season, don't get me wrong, but I want some consistency to start this year off, and, it's going to have to start right, this upcoming work versus Atlanta. What's your prediction on this?
Yeah, it's going to be a close one. Atlanta's going to come out slugging. If we can't stop the run, we're in trouble.
Agreed.
Bijan's a weapon. Like I said, Algier is no joke either. Yep. They've been running the ball on everybody, and if we don't stand tall, figure out a way to get some push with that defensive front, it could be a long day for us defensively again.
Totally agree, because if we're not getting the push with our defensive line, our secondary is going to be exposed, and we can't have that again, because I think it all starts up front with our defensive line, and if we're doing that good, I think the secondary will take care of itself.
And linebackers. Yeah. You're talking about that. The other thing too is the linebackers cannot get pushed back with this defensive line getting pushed back. The defensive line guy has to hold their own to give the linebackers a chance this week.
I totally agree. Just like they did versus Kansas City, we need to bring that same intensity and game plan into this game versus Atlanta. So my prediction is, since I got so I'm 1-1 on the year now. I got the Kansas City game right. I got the Seattle game wrong. I said previously that we are going to go and we're going to beat Atlanta at home. So I'm going to, go with that again. And, I hope we just turn things around, and my worries aren't as valid as, they are right now.
Yeah. I'm a little concerned with this one again.
Yeah.
And I know you got the Kansas City game right. I'm 0-2 over here. So still looking for that win. And it does feel like we're probably going to predict the Lions are going to win just about every week on this show. I promise it won't be that case.
Yeah.
But this week is going to be a challenge. It's going to be a heavy challenge with the injuries we got. Atlanta's no joke, man. People are overlooking them because they had that down year last year. Bijan's giving them a little bit offensively. Their free agent safety that they brought over, Jesse Bates, has been playing great for them. And it's going to be a tough one. I think it's going to be a slugfest. I think Gibbs makes some plays. St. Brown makes some plays, and I think we squeak one out by maybe 3 here.
Yeah, I think we're going to show our true identity, after the game that we had against Seattle where we laid the egg. This is going to be a big game to show, what we're all about. And the rest of the league, if we're, we had all this hype coming in, drinking the Kool-Aid. We beat Kansas City, laid an egg versus Seattle. How are we going to bounce back from that? So this is a huge test and a big proving game for us.
Yeah, it'll tell a lot about the team.
Yeah.
What are we made of?
Yep.
it'll be a good telling point of how this season will play out.
I couldn't agree more. And, with that said, I hope you guys, enjoyed listening to, second game recap of the Detroit Lions season. And we appreciate you guys tuning in, and we hope you enjoyed.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.